Great. So thank you, ladies, for joining us this morning. Great to see you all, and I love seeing everyone on camera. Makes it so much nicer. So thank you. So today we're going to be talking around women in tech, obviously, and also how to master home working, but also leveraging LinkedIn. So building your virtual network, which has become so important for getting new opportunities, progressing your career, but also standing out in the market because obviously everything's moved virtually, but being able to stand out, get opportunities is really important now, and knowing how to utilize those tools, but also feeling refreshed, feeling good, and feeling energized working from home. So I'm really excited for today's session because I'm sure we all need it as well at this point. So a little bit about me. So I used to work for Crimson full-time as a permanent employee. I used to be a CIO recruiter and then moved into look after the partnerships. I've since set up my own business within personal branding, but I'm still partnered with Crimson and a Crimson ambassador. And as I set Women in Tech up for Crimson a few years back, something that I love to do and I'm really passionate about, hence why I'm still here doing it now. And really, really excited that you can all be joining us. And older faces, I don't mean actual old faces, but people who've been with us for a few years, but also new faces. So thank you everyone for joining us. The reason why we set up Women in Tech a couple of years ago, so I used to run a lot of CIO workshops, and maybe 1 out of 12 would be a woman, if that. And usually I'd get the comments of, oh, but it's a shame not more women are here. And then if there was a woman that would be there, they'd say, Keisha, can you do anything more to connect me with other women? So I was like, okay, I need to actually listen to that and do something about it. Hence why I set up the Women in Tech Forum. And I really wanted it to be around having open, non-judgmental discussions because I think sometimes feeling judged is why maybe we don't speak up. So definitely open, everyone's really friendly here, and that's something that's really important for us. So don't feel like any question's a silly question. Ask away, comment away on what you've been going through. Also to make it interactive, find solutions, but most importantly to have fun, meet others and feel part of a community where you've got that support as well. So what I would say is if you can in the chat window, hopefully you've all got access to the chat windows, put your job title, like who you are, but also your LinkedIn profile if you're open to connecting with others. That would be great. And we have got Lou here as well. Lou, did you want to say a quick hello? I know you're driving at the moment, so Lou's from Crimson.
Hello, thanks, Kate, and thanks for that lovely intro. It's really important to summarise the reasons we do things, and with that we change and improve all the time. So, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'm Lou. I head up the recruitment team. Sorry if you can't hear me. I had an early start, but the roads were very slippy, so I'm still just 10 minutes away from work. My apologies, but I will be joining on camera as soon as I can. And Keisha's absolutely fantastic. She's got a fantastic network, and we're really pleased to continue to partner with her. And I'm just here for any career advice and any ongoing support you may need, whether that be resourcing or your own personal development also. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou. So Lou's the head of recruitment for Crimson. So if you are looking for a new role or to hire, as she just said, then get in touch with her, and Lou will put her contact details in shortly as well. So I'm sure all you ladies saw when you signed up this, and this is what we're going to be talking about, mastering homework, high homeworking and leveraging LinkedIn. So what I'd like to do just to get started is in the chat window, just a little bit of fun, but summarize your experience working from home in 3 words, and I'll have a look at what some of them are. So I thought I'd think about what mine would be, and it's quite a hard question really. So I put roller coaster, which I'm sure some people can relate to. New starts, I guess that's 2 words, isn't it? And dogs. So and my sister who's also on camera. Hi, Cade. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Dull, dull, dull. Hi, Julie. Work-life balance. Oh, I love that. That's nice. And dogs for you as well, Julie. Laura, dull, dull, dull. Do you want to elaborate?
I've always done a bit of hybrid working, for a long time anyway. So being at home more has been just dull. I do have dogs, so it is nice to be at home a bit, but I haven't had enough human contact. That's why it's dull.
Yeah, I get that. And then it's weird now, isn't it? Like I had an in-person meeting yesterday, and it's just like, oh, what do we do when we're in person? It's all like getting back used to actually being around people. Like, how do we actually talk to people in person?
Although I have found that when I've met a couple of people face to face, that, you know, the whole woman thing about shaking hands is all a bit odd. We never know whether that's a good thing to do or not. So now elbow pumps, that's us women. We can do elbow pumps to people.
Yeah, I still haven't got what we should be doing at this point, to be honest. I just hope that the other person will lead what to do.
Yeah.
So who else have we got? Rowena, flexible dogs, lions, perfect. Comfort, isn't it? So yeah, Catherine, comfortable work-life balance, quiet. So Catherine, do you want to talk about your experience a little bit? So comfortable, yeah, I've definitely felt that, not having to put like proper like suits on and stuff.
Yeah, I love the fact that I don't have to dress up for work. I don't have to worry about commuting, getting on the subway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the work-life balance has been great and very quiet since it's just me and dogs at home.
Oh, like me then. And then they can't talk back, obviously, but the nice company still. Just talk at them.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. And like you said, it's nice not having to get up all the time super early in the cold. So Joe, missing the company, but also had a tendency to be unproductive. Cool. Well, that's good that you're at this session then, Joe, because that's what we'll be talking around, how to kind of be most productive with working from home, how to stay motivated and energized, which I'm really excited for that session. Louise Robinson, really missed being with my team. How have you found that, Louise, with actually like managing your team virtually? I suppose in a one line sentence, how do you say that?
I think probably one of the most difficult things I've had to deal with is recruitment. I've recruited a lot of people this year, and you know, half of them I haven't even met yet. So,
wow, yeah.
That's quite difficult to build up the same sort of relationship that you have with the people that you've been sitting with for years. So
definitely, and building that kind of trust, isn't it, as well? And like, it's, I think virtual you can see a lot like via body language on video, but like you said, it's never the same, is it? So it's like water cooler moments are in between, you know, where you can actually just have an actual chat with someone about other than like work stuff. Obviously you can on Teams or whatnot, but I think it's those in-person moments that do help, don't they? Will you get to meet them soon or not?
Probably. We are starting to go back into the office a little bit, but you know, you just have to try and coordinate as well, which is a bit irritating. You know, some people go in on a Monday, some people are going on a Thursday, and everything becomes a bit more complicated to arrange rather than if you were just going there all the time. But
yeah. Well done for recruiting throughout lockdown as well. So you did well. Thank you everyone as well for commenting. So yeah, quite a few of you put things around like a combo home and office. Alexandra, flexible, quiet, chilly. My heated is not the best. Yeah, well, thank you. That's really interesting to hear. So, and I think relatable for quite a few of us as well. So thank you. And you're at the right place for this session because we'll be helping you with building some kind of tips for working from home, get the most out of yourself, being happy and building resilience, but then also LinkedIn and how to master that from two ladies who have got a lot of experience with it, but also have managed to do it successfully throughout lockdown as well. So that brings me on to our two lovely and amazing speakers that we've got lined up for you. So we've got two Claires, which is the first time we've even had a Claire. So somehow we've got two. And when we had the kind of prep calls, the amount of synergy that both Claires have got is weird, but it's it's a mad one. But so we've got Claire Davidson. So Claire set up her own consultancy, which is really amazing. She's also got a really great network of her own, but also really credible within the housing space, but also in the charity space and quite a few other sectors. She's going to be talking all around how to excel whilst working from home, how to build resilience, how to get those kind of if you're having a tough meeting, how to overcome that with working from home, but also how to refuel and remain productive, which I think is the key thing during working from home, because I think it can be easy to kind of get off track and get distracted whilst working from home. So really excited for Claire's session. And then after Claire, we've got our other Claire, so Claire M, and Claire's got tons of experience again within the tech space, but within the project space. And Claire's also founded her own company and managed to get her own opportunities via LinkedIn throughout lockdown, build a network, but also put herself out there in some ways that can push comfort zones by doing video and content. I know Claire and I have spoke quite a lot about this, but she's really done well with building her network, putting herself out there and managing to get opportunities on the back of it and building our own personal brand. So great, I'll pass over to Claire Davidson, and thank you everyone. And as I said, it is an interactive session, so if you have got any questions or anything that you want to say, do either raise your hand or put it in the chat, and I'll be monitoring the chat. So thank you. And over to you, Claire Davidson.
Okay, bear with me everyone. This is so out of my comfort zone.
That's okay.
So I'm just going to... No, that's great. So I'm just going to start off with a few slides. There is only about 4 or 5, and then we'll just talk. And I want this to be interactive. So, you know, use the chat, ask questions. Don't wait for me to finish because that might never happen. Some of you on the call will know that I love to talk. I can see Louise smiling. So I'm Claire Davidson. So I started my own consultancy in 2019. Big brave jump. I'll explain a little bit more about that later, but just listing out there a few of the services that we offer. You know, jack of all trades, mistress of none. I will try and help with anything. I just move on. So we've got, these are the customers that I've worked with or am still working with, just to give you a bit of an idea. So housing sector, and obviously some charity organisations as well, particularly YMCA. So a bit about me. So I work from home full-time predominantly now. I do go into site if needed, but I do really just work from home. Love my home. Married, 3 daughters, slightly different ages there. So we've got Sam, 25, getting married in March, which is fantastic. And we've got Meg, who's 22, and Brooke, who's 18. So Brooke's left at home at the moment. And we've got my dog, Cooper. So Cooper is really important at my consultancy because he is HR, he is the office admin, and he is the wellbeing manager. So as you can see, the duties there don't really do him justice. He does so much, but collecting post is not one of his strong points. It often comes in pieces, but thankfully we don't get much in the post. He is my listening ear. He is that person when I have a bad meeting, I come off, look at him, and he looks at me as if to say, what now? He's my lunch buddy, and he is a mood lifter, and he does make me take a break. He really does he helps to refuel me, and he does stop, whether it's coming in with a pink fluffy teddy bear or just looking at me to say, come on, this has been too much now with the meetings and you've been talking for too long. He really is good for me, good for the soul. So I'm just going to stop there with the slides. And just talk to you a little bit about how I ended up working from home. So I've got my notes that side, so if I'm looking that way, just ignore me. I'd worked in an office for about 22 years, predominantly, with the last sort of 18 months of that being working from home 2 days a week. I didn't have a desk. I was sitting on the floor. I was leaning up at the coffee table. If somebody was in the kitchen, I was working from the dining room table. I was on the bed. I was literally working wherever I needed to be. I was working for a technology company at that point in the last part of my career. So I had docks, screens, I had kit coming out of my ears, but nowhere to put it. And I'd been there for 18 months and it just took its toll. I realised I was sat there, pins and needles, while I was kneeling down in a really uncomfortable position. I'd just taken over the house and it was just not great. It was really not good at all and not productive. It wasn't a good experience, and I just felt I had to be available all the time. So I couldn't easily put anything away. I had to have everything ready to go. Put a huge amount of pressure on myself for obvious reasons, being a director in a technology company, being female. I needed to be ready on it, ready to go all the time in case somebody phoned. It just wasn't great for that home working balance, and also just the physical side of having kit and laptops ready at home. So travelling around for the other 3 days a week and that awful 2 days from home working experience took its toll. Balance was all wrong, and I decided to leave. I'd been the customer for a number of years. I'd been head of IT, I'd been director, I'd gone between housing, education, and back through housing again. And then I'd worked for a large technology provider, and I just saw there was something not right. There was just something missing between that customer and supplier link. And I wanted to explore that. And what with the unhappiness around the way I was working, I just decided to take the leap, take the plunge, be brave. Scared my husband massively by saying, well, I just feel really liberated and I'm not going back to work. I just want to stop. Not quite as easy as that. We spoke about it. But my family, my husband realised that actually this wasn't right and I was different. It was really having a big impact on me. And like I said in the slides, I love my home, and I was really conscious that my home was being taken over by work, and a work that I wasn't really enjoying. So took the plunge, left, didn't have a break in between because I was very conscious about having to find work and have that, set up at home. So now, just over sort of 2 years on, I love what I do. And I'm now more settled and content than I've ever been. And that is about having a really good balance. So it's not perfect, and I've definitely not mastered it, but I'm mastering it. And I'm in such a different position to where I was. I've got a desk, I've got a space, I've got a room, and it really is the little things that make a big difference. So I'm still finding that really good balance between working from home or just working. It's not even working from home now, it's just working and creating that space. It will never be perfect because I do have the dog that's managed to run in and open the door. I do still go to type up reports, and if I've left the door open slightly, if I'm using Word and I've got the dictaphone where I'm talking and reading my notes and it's typing up the notes, I'll come across and it will say, "What's for dinner, Mum?" because my daughter's in the background talking. These things are going to happen, but we just have to keep kind of refining and working out what's right for me. I've moved my desk and the space. I've changed my space about 5 times, I think, in the last year. And it's just trying to find that right balance. You're right, it is not just seeing in the chat there, it's not working from home, it is just working. And I think that's what we've got to try and shift to. I'll be going through some sort of tips in a minute, but we talk a lot about working from home, and your home, it easily becomes work and the office space. And you do have to do the things like shut the door. I have to make this room, this very small little room, is my little cave, my space, my place, and it's a really calm space. Sometimes it can get a bit heated, but that's just to myself. But you have to make this kind of your little haven. So I've got my nice pictures on the wall. And when we're talking about the synergy between myself and the other Claire, we realise we've got the same pictures. We've got black and white with black frames. We've got nice sofa. We've got nice cushions. We've got all of these things that we like. I love these little things. I get to put the quotes that my daughters and my husband cringe at on the wall, which says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I love that. I can't have that out in the house, and I probably couldn't put that in a workspace if I wanted to. So it's all my things in my space that make me feel calm and prepared. The other things around kind of working here and not working from home, so working in my space, it's really important to me that I have whatever's going on outside calm and ready before I start the day. Starting the day on the right foot is really important to me. To me, and it will be different to all of you, but to me, it's dogs walked and happy. I've dropped whoever needs to go to the station off to the station. I've emptied the dishwasher, I've stuck a washing load on, and I'm ready. Or I've showered, I'm ready. I have to do all of those things to make me feel ready before I come into this room and shut the door. When I've finished at the end of the day, I shut the door, I turn everything off, I take my work cup out, so I have a separate cup for work and I have separate cups for outside, because I really want that separation. I get changed. So I'll go upstairs and I get changed. So when I'm finished today, I'll go and I'll get changed out of my clothes, because it's really easy to just slip into, then everything becomes the same. These are just things that I do that help me sort of mentally, psychologically, just switch off. When I used to work in an office, I used to say that the lanyard was my uniform. I'd put that on and I'd be ready to go. That was my entry to the office, and I could print, I could do whatever. I'd take it off and that's it. Now, the only thing I can do to kind of separate how I feel is get changed, take my cup out, shut the door, lights off. Just the little things for me make a big difference. It's taken a really long time to get to this position. And I did find at first that I was here. I was in this room and I love this space, and I was in here all the time. And I'd be in here, and I realised that at some points I was sat here in my pyjamas, and because I'm most productive from about 6 till probably about 11. That's my most productive time. So, and it's also when no one else really is kind of logged in, so I could get on and I could do all the bits that I wanted to do. But then I realised that I was working all the way through, and then it'd get to the point where I'd get a 15-minute reminder for a meeting, and I'd have to quickly run upstairs, get changed and get ready. And then I felt all off balance and off kill, because do you know what? I'd probably taken the dog out, maybe in my pyjamas with a really big coat on and a hat so no one could see, but I hadn't done the dishwasher. I'd probably not had to take someone to work or to the station that day, and I hadn't put the washing on. And it's kind of, again, those little things, no one else is going to do them. In the same way with work, no one else is going to do my work. I've got to really be strict and have boundaries around how I manage things. And you've got to have that separation. So some of the things that I try to do now is like get myself ready in a position to start the day on a really good note. That's really important to me. And then when I finish, I want to finish and I want it closed off, done. So during the day, managing, I've got 4 different customers that I'm working with at the moment. So I have to also be really prepared and ready for them. So in the same way I have to be boundaried and firm with myself between home and working, I've got to make sure that I'm present and giving absolute 100% focus to each one of those 4 customers. So I can't do back-to-back meetings. I won't do back-to-back meetings because that's no good for anybody. That's something that I see with my customers. And they're always, I've got to go, I'm rushing. It's so hard, and it's really hard to work in that environment. These are all the reasons why I've got to manage myself, and that's not what customers are looking at me for. They're looking to me to say, help me do the bits that I'm not able to do. And if I'm just constantly in one meeting back to back after another, I'm no good to anybody. And then I go out that door at the end of the day and I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I don't get the brilliant time with my family, which is the whole point of me doing this and the whole point of me getting that balance. I'm probably not saying anything that you don't already know, but it's just about how I manage it and how I work and what's important to me. And actually, what we might see as the little things are the really important things. So you do have to make sure you have time for yourself, get yourself set up on the right foot. And I appreciate not everybody's got an office. Not everybody has that. You know, like I say, I was stuck up in the spare room at our old house. We moved at the first break during COVID and got a dog. You know, done all the things just to throw it in. Obviously, I had too much time on my hands and thought we'd mix it up a bit. But I went from kneeling down on the floor, really seriously pins and needles, which is not great. And you're trying to have a meeting and you're, you know, everything blurred background, constantly blurred because I was embarrassed about being in my suit, sat there in these, you know, these director meetings, and at one point being at the sea level. And yet I had everything going on around me, kitchen, dining room. So I was constantly on mute and blurred. Whereas now I'm really proud about my space. So I've got a newly painted wall and I've got my space, and it makes such a big difference. And that space could be your child's bedroom. You know, it could be your child's bedroom, but it could be your space. So you could shut the door. It doesn't matter. You just have to try and create that little bit of calm and quiet, so that you're not constantly distracted. So I'm just going to look at some of the chats that were coming in there. So dog walk, breakfast, washing on, quick shower. Yeah, absolutely. You're just ready then, aren't you? When would you ever get up, get in your car, go to work in your pyjamas and forget about everything else? You just wouldn't do it, would you? So you do need to make sure. I was looking at some of the top tips I'm going to go through in the moment, which I'm kind of touching on. I just Googled top tips for working from home, and they're all the same as what we're saying. It's not rocket science. You've got to look after yourself, and you just need to make time. NHS, I think, if you Google them after, I actually did not copy them, but they're pretty much like for like the same. And it does say about try and remember you used to commute. Use your commute time in the same way you would. You have to get to work backwards. We did projects. What do you do to get to where you need to go? Work backwards. Well, I need to get dressed, wash, eat, drink, but and do all of these things. Don't lose that. I used to have a blurred background because the washing pile was behind me. Got doors for that. Shut that door as well. Hide all of that. Let's have a look. Totally agree. Back-to-back meetings. It's really, really hard. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I said, you have to have a no meetings day or a half day. You have to, and I cannot. That for me is one of the biggest ways of being able to refuel, because you take it in, especially when you're working on your own. You come out of a meeting, you go into a meeting, you come out of a meeting. And especially being paid to deliver services for somebody, you've got, still love my notepad, but you have pads and pads of notes and notes. When do you get a chance to type those up? People, I think before, come from a culture where if you weren't in a meeting, you weren't busy, you didn't have enough to do. And I remember someone looking in my diary saying, oh, you're free. I can see you're free this week. No, I'm not free. I'm not free just because I've got no entries in my calendar. That's not how my role works. As IT director or whatever, things happen. Just because it's not in my calendar does not mean I'm not busy. And that's what you have to think about, is just putting. Well, I got to the point where I was putting in my diary, no meetings, please. I need a 15-minute break, or keep free. And the amount of times that wasn't respected and people would ignore that. I've now, no excuses, I can do that. So I make myself do that. So I do block things out. And another thing I do is, if I do work in the evening, I don't work weekends now at all, unless I'm working on a project where there's a migration where we're doing it out of hours. That's completely different. I don't work at the weekend, because the weekends to me are precious. I've got far too much to catch up on Netflix and all those sorts of things that to me is precious, and I'm not having that impacted by anybody. In the evenings, if depending on daughter's out, husband's working, I'm not going to have a go because I've let myself, because I've decided to do a bit of extra work. I will do that, but then I take the time back. So I keep a log of the hours I do, and then what I'll do is take half a day off, get my nails done, get my lashes done, go for a longer walk, go and meet my friends, do anything that I want to do, and I will take that time back. So just have a look again at the chats that are coming through. I'd like to block out slots, focus weekly dashboard. People can see what I'm working on. Yeah, it's really good. You have to block it out. And if you feel you need to block it out and put what you're doing, that's fine. But just don't take the calls. Go on do not disturb. There's this fear of putting do not disturb on. Work out, use the tools to benefit you, but you do need that time. And put music on. This is another safe space for me to play my own music. I won't go into what my eclectic taste is, but I've got Spotify playlist for all different types of moods, and it's really great. I love it. I have my music on, and they can hear out there. They say, oh no, she's got that playlist on. Things must be a bit heavy today. Oh, she's in a good mood. But it's nice. You can just have the space on, have the music on in your own space. So, I do find it hard to stop working in the evening. Just one more email, just one more slide. Yeah, and again, I completely agree, Sarah. It is really hard. And if my husband or daughter was listening now, they'd say, but you do stuff in the evening. You do things now and again. And I say, yeah, but I will take that time back, and I will be kind to myself, and I will make sure that I don't just kind of swallow up all of that extra work. Spotify is great. It is hard to work in silence. I think the only thing when I do leave the office or my space to work, The one place where I do go, and I think Holly mentioned this in one of our sort of pre-calls, I'll go to the dining room. I'll go to sit at the table because I've got the garden behind. But I only do that if no one else is in, because that's their space, that's our space, and I'm not going to take over again. That's quite nice because you feel like you'll have, if I want to have like an admin time, if I purely just want to do typing up, music on, I never have the telly on in the background. That doesn't work for me, but music is great. So that's my own space. Somebody mentioned, I think you mentioned, Kesha, about water cooler moments. Mine are you going on another call? Are you free? Do you want to do something? What time's dinner? Or what time's lunch? It's like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going back in again. I'm not worried about those water cooler moments. So I was just looking at the chats there, 1 second. So I had a colleague at the university I work who liked to work in the cafe on the campus when we met in. Yeah, completely agree. And you can share playlists. Why not share a playlist with someone? At the moment, I follow most of my daughter's playlists, but that's because sometimes you do need a bit of a wake up rather than my soft Adele and, you know, all of those kind of ones. I end up where I probably fall asleep half the time if I just listen to mine. I'm just going to share 2 more slides with you and then I'm done talking at you. One moment, I'll just put these up. So I said, just to recap, because it all goes, you know, end up a bit waffly, but my top tips for working from home, I'm actually going to scrap the from home bit now. I should have just said that it's just working. It is just working. Where you work, you know, it's not where you work, it's just what you do. So main thing is create your own space, whether that's a whole room, a space in a room, it's your space, and make it your own. You've got to have that separation of work and home. So my separation is changing what I'm wearing when I finish work, shutting the door, having a different cup, all those sorts of things. Again, might sound a bit silly, but they're important to me and it helps me separate. Avoiding long to-do lists and focusing on what must be done today. I've managed, I look at my to-do list sometimes, and this is going back probably a few months, and I'd have something set for each customer that I'm working with, and it was ridiculous. I expected myself to do about 15 things every day for each of them, and I had to get it done today. When I was managing teams of 40, 5, 10, I would never ask them to do that. I would never ask them to do that amount of work. So why am I going to ask myself to do it or expect myself to do it? So really focus on what you have to do today. I've said to you about back-to-back meetings, they don't work. And I really, that's such a big thing, you know, that one small thing, put in your diary, keep free. If it's just you working for yourself and you haven't got to let anybody else know, still do it. Still put in there, keep free. You say no meetings day, like we've just said. Working out loud and staying connected. So I'm really looking forward to Claire's session because I want to learn how to use LinkedIn better. So I over the years, I've always said I work out loud. Working out loud to me means sharing on the intranet what we're doing in my team, you know, making sure I give communication updates internally. Now working out loud can only mean telling people on LinkedIn what I'm doing, or Twitter, or, you know, so be proud of what you're doing. I'm really proud of what I've achieved. You know, 10 customers in the last just over 2 years have all come through reference and recommendations, and they're all repeat customers and they're buying into me. So, and this is why I've got to be really strict with myself, but I'm really proud of what I'm working on with different customers. And so working out loud and getting any feedback back all comes through LinkedIn at the moment. Reward yourself. Like I said, don't lose those hours or those minutes that you do in the evening or the weekend or working for your lunch break. You earned them, so use them, and don't feel bad for taking a break. And your rewards can be whatever they want to be. Be brave and say yes to the uncomfortable. That is exactly what I've done today. And I was really nervous about this. I've done so many webinars where I'm talking about technology or a thing alongside somebody. And I'm not, when you talk about yourself, it is really hard. I think I've done about 20 takes of that video, which was painful and I hated it. But do it, be brave and say yes. Most of all, most important thing, which I've left till last, is to find a virtual buddy. So Cooper's fantastic. Cooper's brilliant, but he doesn't really say very much. He can't give me any sort of feedback. But I know she's on this call, and I'm really sorry to embarrass you, Louise, but my virtual buddy is Louise. So Louise and I have been working together on different projects over the last year or so, and I can honestly tell you that I don't feel like I'm working on my own. So find a virtual buddy, and together, this is my nice cheesy bit, be superwomen. Don't try and be superwoman. I've tried that. It doesn't work, and the quality will go. We work brilliantly together, and we've got our chat going on Teams. We talk on text. Louise messaged me this morning and said, don't be nervous, you'll be great. You miss that when you're working on your own, and you're working here solely on your own. So I would absolutely challenge you, above everything else I've said, whether changing your clothes is the big thing that you didn't think of doing, or having your, you know, we all know you need your own space. But genuinely, you have to talk. Talking is so important. And even if it is, we've had lots of red flaming head emojis going in those chats. We don't even have to have words sometimes. It might just be emojis, you know. And and Claire and I are going to do the same thing. We're going to be virtual buddies as well. And we're actually not that far, so we are going to meet up too. It is so important to be able to still be connected and talk to someone. So definitely through this group or through whoever, someone that it's good to do it with somebody that you don't, maybe you're not in the same organisation as, just get a different perspective, just chat, talk. I do, I love it, I love talking. So just go back to the chat to see if I've missed anything off. Never thought about changing what I'm wearing. I use my diary to put working sessions so people don't think it's free. That's it. Word it whatever way you want to. That's it. Help them to separate work from personal. They put meetings in the diary. So we've got, as a business, due to consultancy and customer-led nature, this back-to-back working has been a challenge. The team have tried blocking lunch slots out. It's so wrong, isn't it? When, you know, people, when you say, oh, I suppose you won't want a meeting then because that'll be your lunch break. And how many people go, lunch break, what's that? Well, no, you need a break. You're meant to have at least 30 minutes. And again, if I was saying this to myself when I was in the office environment a few years ago, I'd be thinking, yeah, okay, I've got too much to do. You really do need to make time. Don't worry, Kerry, that you're late joining. These are being recorded, aren't they? So
yeah,
you can always watch them back. So that's brilliant. So you jump in the car on the driveway in between meetings and put the radio on and sing. Oh, I love that. That's definitely something I would do. I might do that, actually. I might give that a try. I love a sing song for stress relief. Yeah, definitely. So the virtual buddy idea is good. Oh, Louise, right back at you. You've been a lifesaver. See, we're only human. That's what we have to remember. We need interaction. And as much as we build such fantastic relationships remotely, we will meet up. So we've already said we're going to meet up. But how brilliant that we've built this strong, real good relationship. And the same with the customers that we're working with. We've got really great relationships. And it doesn't matter where we are. Louise, you can tell them where you are in the world. I'm in Kent. Yeah. Just checking you're there, Louise.
She's maybe frozen.
Yeah. So I like walking meetings with a little non-focus. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's it. So Louise is in Stoke-on-Trent. I'm in Kent. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can build relationships.
I've just got a question, Claire. So when it comes to your to-do list, so you said focus on the most important. So how many points would you say for each day that you might want to focus on? So some people say focus on the 3 things you need to achieve today. And do you block them out with times, or Are you just like, I'll get it done? Like, how do you do that?
It's quite hard to block it out with time because we've got 4 customers I'm working with at the moment. I can't really say, and this is what I explain to them when we're working. We work flexibly together. I'll be as flexible as you need to be and around you. We can't have necessarily dedicated set days because you have to be available for others. I say to myself, it is actually 3. These are the 3 things that I want to achieve, or I must achieve today. And just work through it like that. Again, it's not, don't put yourself under so much pressure, but that's why it's really hard. Like, it's really important to use time speak. Yeah. So if you do need to, I need this done when, and what's the impact if you don't get it done? Time speak's really, really important.
Julie's just put a comment about her to-do list.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Whether it's a day or a week, and it might be something really small. So I put 3, so normally about 3, and then if I know that I can achieve them, and then if I go on and take one off tomorrow, that makes me feel brilliant. I feel really good.
And you'd write it the night before, like evening before, or day before, or in the morning?
No, I normally do it first thing in the morning because it will change overnight. I'll think about it and I go, no, I don't really want to do that. I need to do that bit. So I just try and focus on that morning. So
we've got 2 minutes left before our next session. So has anyone Lou's got her hand up. There's any final questions for Claire?
Hi Claire, it's Lou. I'm in the office finally. I was desperate to get in today. Everyone was like, "Don't worry, stay at home. Your daughter's ill." I was like, "No, it's okay. Mark's at home. I need to get out." I'm a salesperson. I work with a team, and we're all really chatty. We love interacting with customers, and I think the biggest challenge for us has been, to your point, not treating working from home as working from home, but actually working. And I think that's been really difficult for me personally. Managed it, but I'm mindful of my team also probably some days feeling like I do. However, my question was, I do have people in my team who are different to some of the salespeople. So whether they be operations or more support services, and they're much more comfortable on email or more comfortable having a very structured day. And some of my sales consultants often won't necessarily have things in their calendar so much, and I have had comments from members of my team to say, "Oh, there's nothing in their diary, I can't get hold of them. Are they free? They must be free, they must not have anything to do." And I'm thinking, yeah, but the amount of times I'm on the phone and I'll be randomly chatting to someone for 45 minutes, 50 minutes in my clear hour, and I really empathize with my colleagues who aren't necessarily as structured as others, but they enjoy that free time to be able to have those spontaneous conversations, and often just go walk and be on the phone chatting, or go for a drive to meeting, and they'll be talking to people there and then. And I do struggle with that because people are different, right? And everyone has slightly different views, but it's difficult to sort of, I find myself constantly just like having everyone's back because everyone's different. But that, I think, to your point, putting little sessions in, and almost I do it now. I put sort of workshop timers or prep planning for, or even sort of working on the business. Rob and I use as a phrase, because actually blocking out time where you just want to sit for a couple of hours and think about something. So I really resonated with a lot of what you said there. But I just wondered if you had any extra hints or tips for people who aren't as structured or aren't as good.
It is hard, and again, it's not something that just happens. It's something that you learn to do, isn't it? To kind of be organised. I like the fact that you said it had taken you quite a while to get 5 different space changes and stuff. I thought it was really honest the way that you described your experience. Actually, it's really good. Well, I keep changing it round. The reason why I keep changing the office is because I had it down here. I had the desk moved down here to start with. See, I think that you can see exactly what's going on in my space. So it's down there. It's over there. And I was more focused about the door because people just kept walking in, and it's taken time for family to adjust as well. That just because I'm at home doesn't make my work any less important, So you keep working. We all have to be different. We all work differently. If we're all the same, it would be bloody boring. So we do have to work differently. But I think some of this around culture as well. So workplace culture around how we respect each other and the work we do.
Thank you. Claire, I don't know whether you noticed, but I put on my chat that I put a lock on my door to the study, partly because we replaced the doors to make them heavier doors into the study, which has been really helpful. But as you can see, I didn't do it because I don't know whether anyone noticed, my dog walked in
So
earlier.
cute.
I forgot this morning. But if that's the last resort, if that helps, put a lock on that. You've got a door that could easily have a lock on it. So
Yeah. Or I just need to lock it properly. My husband keeps saying, if you just do the handle properly, he won't run in. So,
Thanks so much, Claire. That was brilliant. And we'll have a few minutes at the end just for any final questions, but do ask questions in the chat. And Claire, if you're able just to look in the chat if any other questions are coming up for you, that would be great. Thanks so much, Claire. And appreciate you saying yes to me asking you to do this. So thank you. You're brilliant. And now over to Claire M, who we're talking all around LinkedIn and virtual networking and how Claire's managed to push her comfort zones and put herself out there, which has led to opportunities and clients for her own business. So Claire, over to you, and thanks again, Claire Davidson.
Thanks so much, other Claire. That was brilliant. Hard act to follow. So hopefully I'll be just as energizing as you were. Before I start, or as I start my presentation, it'd be brilliant if you could just pop a note in to let me know just how experienced you are with LinkedIn, because then I can, I know what I want to say, but if you're particularly experienced, I can just sort of temper, or if you've got specific things that you want to cover. But if you could do that while I just walk through, a bit like Claire, I've got just a few slides by way of an introduction, and then I'm going to actually walk through my LinkedIn profile, and then I might even ask if any of you are brave enough for me to look at yours, and we can just go through there. But do let me know what you want to know, and I'll try and cover that. Right, let me do the technical bit. So
that's it. And I suppose what you struggle with most about LinkedIn, and then I suppose Claire can help you with that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, just 2 seconds. Let me just try and get my presentation going.
We're getting some comments coming through now, so I'm not sure. I don't think you'll be able to see them, Claire, with your screen. But
I'm just going to try and do that. Just 2 seconds. Let me just see if I can get into the chat. Oh, I can't see the.
That's fine. I'll read them out for you.
Oh, actually, hang on a second. I think I've got the chat. I've got the chat now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've got it. Okay, I'll deal with those in just a second. Thank you. Right. So really, today is a LinkedIn walkthrough. Everyone can see my slides. Can you nod, place you on the screen?
Got your
slides. Brilliant. Oh, that's not the right bit. Let me start at the beginning. So I'm going to talk through my LinkedIn story. And just before I do that, I'll tell you what I do. So a bit like the other Claire, we do have so many synergies. I am essentially a project manager, I guess. I've had a sales background, projects. But what I'm really good at is getting people organised, working out what they're struggling with, and unblocking bottlenecks in small businesses. So if I put it at really top level, I help companies or organisations to work in a better way, particularly around projects and process. And then the kind of business bottlenecks that I deal with are where a small business, where the owner maybe has got too much just going around their head and they can't sort of get it out. They're a bit stressed, but they can't work out what to do next. Companies, people that don't have the right tech. So sometimes that could be a company that has too much technology, they're not using it very well, or they don't have any technology, so they're inefficient. A lot of businesses I work with don't have processes written down. Everybody just sort of makes their own way of doing it, if you like. They're good at what they do, but it's not efficient again. They don't track metrics. Their delivery to clients is inconsistent. When they try and change, it doesn't stick. And they've either got too much structure. I think in one of the chats, somebody said that a lady sort of shouts in capitals over Teams. And sometimes I think your structure can be too controlling, but if you have no structure at all, it's just a bit chaotic. So I help with all of these things and make them better. So that's just about me. And I thought, in telling my story about LinkedIn, I thought I would give you sort of, like any story, a start, a middle and an end. And my start point was that I was working on, I worked on a big retail bank project for 3 years, and then I worked on another one which stopped last July. And I thought, I don't want to be contracting anymore. What can I do? So between July and October, I worked out what I wanted to do, and that's my business called Projects That Deliver. And at that time, I was like, well, we're in the middle of this pandemic, can't go out and see people, can't network, go to events, etc. So how am I going to get my message out? And the two answers to that were create a website and use LinkedIn, because I'm selling to other businesses. And at that point, probably like a lot of more corporate people, or people with a corporate background, my LinkedIn was very much a CV on my LinkedIn page, really stupid, dull, no personality whatsoever. And I had 129 connections, which is really not very many at all. So I started from that, and I was thinking, well, how am I actually going to build this? And I started looking around LinkedIn. I knew someone from previous days who helped me with writing, the copywriting, you might call it finding my voice, because I'd come from a quite structured background, and I think those of us that have worked in bigger companies, it's very much sort of presenting when you're talking to people as opposed to having that personal voice. And I became my own brand, so it's quite hard. That was the first challenge, was trying to actually find my voice and my tone of voice. And then I looked around LinkedIn for people to help. And actually the reason I'm here today is because when I was looking around to learn about LinkedIn, Keisha does a brilliant job and some hints and tips, and I started following her. So my journey started by actually using LinkedIn to find useful resources for me to learn from. And I've got some people later on that I can sort of go through, as well as Keisha, to follow, to just get some really good hints and tips, etc. So my start point was going from sort of nothing and building. And then I also employed a Kickstarter who was brilliant. So there's two of us on my new journey with my new business. So my start was really from a very low place, if you like. And then my middle was finding this voice, learning about LinkedIn, starting to put content together, understanding how to use LinkedIn to engage with people, starting to get consistent, and starting to write a plan, which all probably sounds maybe a bit basic, but that is where I started from. And it was like, right, what am I going to do, and how am I going to do this? And it started delivering results, because I won 2 clients. I've got 2 clients directly from LinkedIn, small clients, but all the same, these are people that I've never met in person at all. And as Claire was saying before, when you work on your own, sometimes that can be a little bit lonely, but you often put something up and you might get a lovely comment back, or somebody really engages with you. So you do get this sense of putting stuff out. Sometimes you might get a few likes, but other times you get really good conversations and comments going. I have to say that I forgot to say at the start point, I was really quite fearful of using LinkedIn. I don't really use social media. I've got a Facebook account, don't really use it, don't post on Instagram. And my first thought when I thought I'd have to use LinkedIn was, oh my God, what's everyone I know going to think of me? And oh, what if I say the wrong thing? And it probably took me about 3 months to sort of get over that and be confident in actually just going out there and realizing that I have got things to say. I do know what I'm talking about. I am good at what I do, and not being quite so polite and reserved about it and just going for it. And during this middle point, I discovered some people that were really good at video. There's a guy called Ben Miller, completely drew me in and engaged me in his video, the way that he does his videos. And another guy, Ravi Rajani, I can circulate these later. And I was really freaked out by doing video. I was like, I can't do this. But I had an actual conversation with Ravi, and he challenged me to do 10 days of posting on LinkedIn, anything I wanted to, 10 seconds, a minute. And so I actually created this vision of my perfect client, who's called Grace. She worked in a company, city-based company with 5 to 25 people. And when I was doing my videos, I would talk nominally to Grace. And doing that 10-day challenge, which seriously I found really hard. On about day 6, suddenly I was like, oh, this isn't quite so scary. I'm not quite so uncomfortable, and I could do things a bit more naturally, and it felt a bit more organic. So in that middle bit, that was a bit of a breakthrough for me. And then where I've got to now, it's not the end because I'm still learning. I'm not a LinkedIn expert, but I do use it regularly. I now have a consistent way of posting. So on a Monday, I post what I call a Monday musing, which is just something that I found that I think is interesting. On a Tuesday, I publish a blog on my website and then post that to LinkedIn. On a Wednesday, I do a carousel, which is effectively like a PowerPoint presentation going around. Thursdays I do a video, and Friday I do a Friday fact. And every week, although I've been a bit inconsistent recently, too busy on other projects, which is bad for me, but that's taken me 9 months to get to a regular way of posting. So let me come out of this for a second. I was just going to do my little LinkedIn walkthrough. Let me just find the Teams chat a second and see what all the comments are. Oh, look, lots of you putting your profiles down. Right, let me just go to the top. Thanks. Right, okay, so fairly experienced. Oh, Laura, lots of time but frustrated with outcomes. And I think I've been pimping myself quite well, still learning. Happy to be a guinea pig, fabulous. LinkedIn, not good at knowing what hashtags, good point. That's probably one for Keisha's probably more experienced to answer that than me, but becoming another inbox, yes. So reactive, use it to read only, have a profile, keep it up to date, use daily, could you be better? Okay. Sorry, this is a bit dull while I'm reading this, isn't it? I'm just scrolling through. So it looks like everybody pretty much has got a profile, using it a bit, but maybe not fully exploiting all the good bits of LinkedIn. That's how all those comments read to me. Brilliant. Right.
And we've got someone saying I overthink every post. Quite a few.
Oh my God, honestly. Sorry, Keisha. I one of the things that I did do early on, which made it really a bit easier for me on LinkedIn, was my Kickstarter. I would actually write the post, but actually get her to press the button sometimes, because somehow that made it easier. Even though it's all my words, it completely me. I would actually somehow somebody else sort of posting it made it easier.
Yeah.
Right. Let me just share my screen and go on to this one.
It's fine. And we've got another one, or overthink every like, or why there isn't enough likes. And that's another one to get your head round as well, is not every post will blow up. Some will, but it's just being consistent with putting yourself out there and not worrying too much about the likes.
And I on the like, so I had that as well. You know, I went through a phase of feeling like I was giving, and I was really trying to make things engaging and interesting for other people, you know, and why wasn't I getting more likes? But then you find that there's these LinkedIn lurkers, I call them, where I'd go to you know, well, when we could go out, you know, meet up with friends or something, and just randomly they'd go, I've seen all your stuff over LinkedIn, it's really good. Or you'd be chatting to somebody and they see it. So I think people do engage and like, but actually there's a lot more people out there seeing it. And I think I'm right that your posts get shown to about 10%. Every post you do get shown to about 10% of your profile. I've now got 1,000. I've now got up to 1,000 connections. And so that means that my posts are going probably in front of about 100 people, but we're all busy. So I typically, well, I can show you my activity in a minute, but I think getting comments and replying to comments and being consistent there really, really helps. But I have got business, like I say, directly from it. And I've had comments as well from I joined the Federation of Small Business, and the guy there I had a call with just said to me, it was a virtual meeting, he said to me, emailed me afterwards and said, you are really like your profile, your personality on your profile is exactly what you're like, you know, when you talk to me. So that for me was a massive compliment, because I'm trying to be myself, you know, and be authentic, use that word. So when I look at my profile, I did quite a lot of work on the header of the profile here, trying to tell people you know, what I'm all about, who do I want to talk to, so that if people just see my profile, hopefully they get a good sense. My colours are quite bright, orange and green, so I don't want to be I don't want to be in that middle ground. I'm quite, people will either like me or not like me. So I've kind of chosen colours. I haven't gone corporate colours. I've kind of gone, here's my more vibrant colours. Photo here, a lot of people have a coloured background again, so that on activity, when you're scrolling through, which I'll show you in a second, if you've got some colour, you stand out. And through my creator mode, you can't see it on here, but if you just went onto my profile, there's a little video of me introducing myself. So one is a video and one is a photograph here. I don't know what all your headings are like, because but trying to get here, get a real sense of your sorry, can you see my mouse hovering over the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, brilliant. The getting what you actually do here is really good. I used to have like founder of, you know, product deliver, but it doesn't really tell anybody what you do, but in a few words and a few lines you really can get a sense of somebody here, and it's quite important. My profile is linked to my company page, and as I scroll down, you can see here that it says that I am an all-star, which basically means that LinkedIn likes my profile because I've got all the different areas completed that they like and that they want. Oh, sorry, freaked out by, I just need to move, freaked out by recent post. Oh, 19,000 views. Oh, don't be scared. Here, when you look at your dashboard, if you do post, you'll be able to see how many people viewed your profile, and you can go and look at who those people are. You can see how many people viewed your last post, and my posts, I probably only get maximum 300, I think. And what I'm tracking at the moment is what types of posts that I do get the most views. So carousels get way more views, and videos get way more views than just a word posting. And I have appeared in 121 searches. I think that's in the last week. The about section down here again, I really tried to get in here so that when you skim through it, the top few lines, top couple of lines give a sense of who I am and what I do. You should be able to see in my featured, my colours come through. If you've not used Canva, that is a brilliant thing to use to get these sort of graphics up. You can do it in a LinkedIn format, so it's really easy to get graphics on, and you can pin here anything that you want people to see, the things that maybe are news or that you want people to find out about your company. And then here is all my activity again. For me, I can see who's following me, 1,045 people, and you can again hopefully see my colours here. And then my job title, Chief of Getting Things Done, because I was bored with founder, so I made something up. And then my history is just down there. But let me show you. Yes, Canva is amazing. I'm not a designy person, but I can use it. I think it's really good. And if for Canva, there's a lady, I'll try and get this out circulated. There's a lady called Thea Newcomb, who is just brilliant at Canva if you follow her. And there's a Canva group, a group to follow as well. So I'm now looking at the posts that I have put up. So this is a link to a blog. This is my Monday musings, where I just have, I just put something out there that I found interesting. And then the link to it down the bottom. I've got 5 likes on that one. My Friday fact goes out, just trying to put something useful up there. Another Monday musings. This one is a carousel, and you can see that this carousel, all of a sudden we're up to 375 views on that. I put a poll up, but as you scroll through mine with the colours, I've just tried to be really consistent in how I appear. So trying to build a personal brand, but that reflects my business as well. I'm just mindful of the time. So, and then with regard to activity, just you probably all comment on other people's, but the LinkedIn, the advice that I was given, it's all LinkedIn likes it if you actually engage with other people's posts. So if you comment with more than 5 words, it really likes it. And I was just going to show you, before I get into questions, how I actually plan my LinkedIn. So I don't know if any of you use monday.com, but I now plan my postings. Here's my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with my little topic down here of what I'm going to do. And this is actually my copy. And then across here might be a link to the image or the graphic that I'm using. So this is where I've now planned up to the, just so where's December? I haven't got December in here yet. That's my planning. And then in here, I've just got a little list of all of my content ideas. So as soon as I think about something that I want to talk about, I will just put a little note in here. So I was in Pret the other day, a few weeks ago, and they used to have these little tubs of honey that were really messy to put on your porridge. And now they have these Rouse honey things that you snap and you squeeze. So I will at some point do a posting on how innovative things can be and how just by making one small change, you can make the experience much nicer for your clients, in that I don't get sticky honey all over me. It just effectively goes into the pot. So I tend to have here a list of things that I want to write about. And then in my planner here, the days and what I'm going to post on each day. Let me just stop sharing. Stop sharing. Are there any, if you want to pop any questions in, I don't know if that's the right level to talk to about LinkedIn. I've got some suggestions of things that you could do over the next week, which I can go on to, my top tips.
That's helpful. Thank you, Claire. I've just got a question for Laura. So you said you use it, but the outcomes you're not happy with. So what outcomes are you trying to get, which maybe you're not getting?
Well, I have a kind of mixed range of likes and comments back. But I guess I struggle with, I mean, that's amazing, the planning forward of your content there, Claire. I get quite stressed thinking about what content I can put on there. So I maybe need to do what you've done, which is sit down and give it, plan further ahead. Mine's much more reactive than that. So, and I perhaps would get less stressed if I planned a bit more.
I think, Laura, one thing that made a big difference to me was just when I have ideas of things to think about, just having somewhere to put them, whether it's a notebook or post-it notes on your desk. I think because you will have good thought. For me, it was rather than getting to the day and thinking, oh God, I've got to do a post today. What am I going to say? I've now kind of got 25, 30 things and I've actually got somebody now helping me with some of my copy, like particularly for blogs, because I'm much better verbal communication than writing. And so I will talk to my copywriter and she will sort of translate my speak into 500 words or whatever, but I still will give her the topic. So she actually logs into my monday.com, finds my thoughts of my topic, my ideas, and then she puts it into my planner as final content. And I think just having those thoughts and jotting them somewhere so you're not immediately just thinking, oh my God, honestly, this is, it has taken me sort of 9 months of really consistently thinking, how do I want to do this? And I've just got over, if I'm speaking very confidently about it, that's because that's where I am now. But I really was, like, how am I going to do this? Why am I doing this? What is it doing? And then all of a sudden I got one client about 4 months ago who met me saying, your video is, I knew when I saw your video that I wanted to work with you. And that was, I'd done like 120 postings, whatever I'd done, and that one thing made it all worthwhile. And I think, and then I had another one where the project that I'm on now, somebody I met in networking, this is a good tip, if you do go networking, really be consistent about connecting afterwards, because you probably do. But because I connected with this lady, somebody she knew was looking for somebody as a project manager. She referred me to that person in LinkedIn. They messaged me, I messaged back, and I started working for Crisis Homeless Charity, 3 weeks after that. So it sort of comes back at you, maybe not directly. It's this sort of lurking and just being consistent, but it did take quite a while to get there.
Yeah, it's a big return. Well, it's a lot of effort, isn't there, for the return on investment as well in that respect. But it's the new that's what's I find that frustrating, because it is a new way of selling, isn't it? Which I'm just not used to. So some days I think this is really great because it's all new, and other days I just think, oh God, this is really hard work and so new, and I'm not very good at it. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, I think.
I think a lot of people are in that transition phase as well, because it is like, wow, putting myself. I think going to networking events can be daunting enough, but then having to do that on LinkedIn and putting yourself out there in that way. But like have a look at what Claire's been putting out. I think her stuff's really good. But then I've also got, like, which might help you, Laura, a 4-week content prompts idea. So
it was. Sorry, Keisha, it was your content planner that you sent me that helped me construct what I was going to do.
Yeah, so I can send that to all of you if you want. If you just let me know in the
Brilliant.
chat, and I'll send
that'd be really helpful, Keisha.
So then you stop overthinking it and just start posting. Then you get into a group of what you like to post then.
Yeah.
And I think also what I haven't mentioned, which I've started doing in the last 3 months, is also, you know, I've got quite a defined target market. It's like 5 to 25 people, typically London based. So when I'm connecting with people, I do proactively look for people that are in my target market. And I hope Keisha's going to confirm this, but I believe that if you've and I follow, and people that I follow now reflect who I'm trying to sell into as well, because I think LinkedIn can then say, oh, Claire wants to, you know, she's really interested in this type of profile. Oh, I'm going to put things into her feed that looks like this. And so therefore I comment on it. So it kind of gets its momentum going. So I, about 3 months ago, I looked at who I was following, and because I was in retail banking before, I sort of took off a lot of the following of kind of banking, compliance, regulatory things, and made it much more following to entrepreneurship and growing businesses and projects and that type of thing. So I think LinkedIn is now clear on what I'm trying to look for, so it helps me. You know, it puts back to me. I'm just sensitive to the time. Let me just do my last couple of slides. Oh, sorry, the message has just come up over my little icon that I need to start presenting this.
Okay.
Am I back on present? No.
Not just yet.
Hang on a minute. Let me do that again. Right.
There it is. It's coming up now.
Okay. So here's some things that I think would be good to try. Connect with me. That would be brilliant. I think finding your voice, I found it quite hard to get my personality across in my words. That was quite a struggle. So maybe record what you want to say and then type the words rather than just typing it, or just if you know anybody that can help you write, that really helps as well. I've had some really useful help on the video, Keisha, you know, the reason I'm here today, etc. Just maybe find 10 people to follow who can help you with whatever it is, you know, posting on LinkedIn or something to do with your job. Consistently commenting, say on 2 posts a day, not just liking, actually putting at least 5 words onto a post is a really good way to just get that consistency going. Start conversations, pick 10 connections that you've got and just message them and go, you know, how's it going? Something as trivial as that, you know, just get that conversation going and use the messaging. It's really effective. Voice notes are really effective on messaging on LinkedIn. So you can actually, on your mobile app, you can record a voice note to somebody or a video note if you want to. Controversial, as the other Claire said, be brave. Videos are really, really powerful to get you as a person across. You know, I'm really happy to talk to any of you if you want, you know, to talk about how to do that. With regard to captioning, just a hint on video, if you do post a video, it's recommended to actually put subtitle captions on, because a lot of people scroll videos while they're on the mobiles or commuting. So they like to see your face, but they also like to read the words rather than listen to you sometimes. There's various different things you can use for that. And I use Capwing. Yeah. Create a carousel, that's Canva. And then track your stats. You know, how many people are looking at you. I now know that my carousels get loads more views because that format seems to work really well. Some of the blog posts don't so much. So I'm just trying to track, and I'm still trying to find my feet in what I should be doing. And, you know, really just to watch what you do. That's really the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Claire.
I hope that was really useful.
That was really helpful. So we've got some questions come through as well. So Sarah, Claire, how much time do you spend working on maintaining your profile and posts?
I probably do. My profile I don't spend that much on. I'm quite happy with my profile. My job experience, it's a bit boring. I think I want to change that up into sort of funkier words. That's the only thing really on my profile. And the posting, probably 3 hours a week writing. I mean, posting quite quick because you literally put it up and press the button. So a combination of probably 3 hours, but I've got somebody doing my Canva. I think it would be 3 hours work, but I don't necessarily do it because I've got somebody doing my graphics for me, and some of my writing.
And did you want to spend it, like, we've still got a few minutes left, so maybe spend a couple of minutes, because I think people have put their profiles for you to have a quick look at. So you can give them some, but maybe pick two.
Actually, let me go back to sharing my screen, and then we can look at them together on LinkedIn. Right, so sorry, Kesh, can you read out a name for me?
Oh,
I can go back.
There's quite a few. Put your hand up if you in the chat if you want us to have a look at yours. Be brave. I think Claire, you put yours at Catherine
W. Catherine 1-2, right?
You put happy to connect, so I'm guessing you're happy for us to look at your profile, Catherine.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Let's do that, and it's just are you this one?
No, the second one.
This one.
And I'll admit I don't update it all that much.
Oh, well, if you don't want me to press the button, I don't have to.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, we'll have a look at Amber next.
Okay.
So you've got a lovely colour at the top. We can see. Is that you? Have I got the right one?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, brilliant. It does tell me what your job role is. I mean, obviously it's personal to people, but it doesn't. That title doesn't. Could maybe say more about you, but it's your job role. You've got loads of followers. Do you do anything, Catherine, with posting, with interacting?
No, I'm one of those LinkedIn lurkers that you mentioned earlier. So I'm actually surprised I have that many. Yeah, I don't know how I got that many followers.
It's probably your company, Workday. That's a big company, isn't it? So it's probably people are following you. It'd be really interesting to see who actually. I mean, maybe you might want to go and see who follows you. There might be some really interesting people there that you want to sort of get connected. You know, have more of an involved conversation with. You've probably got quite a lot of quite a lot of randoms there, but there might be some people there that are actually good for something that you're trying to do at work. I think LinkedIn for me has two benefits. One is the new business, but I seriously learn a lot about business and get ideas just from following and interacting. So if you do sort of prioritize some of the people in your feed, and if you do stop commenting on your feed, I think LinkedIn goes, oh, Catherine likes this, so it will put more of those things in, so you get maybe a more refined feed. So what I mean by that is, in my notifications here, this is my notifications, so this used to be really random for me. So I can see here, obviously, Louise and two others viewed my profile. This is somebody I know. This is obviously the event that we're on now.
Should we have a look at another profile maybe in a minute?
Yeah. Who should we look at?
Amber Thomas. Sorry, Amber, picking on you, but just because you said you've been working on it.
Yeah, no, happy to.
Wait, this one, Amber?
Yeah, that's
yes,
Amber.
That's me. Yeah.
Hello, Amber.
Hello.
Amber, you're an OG of the Our Women in Tech events, aren't you? You came to our first one.
I did. And then I've been putting a bit of thought into that personal brand stuff over the last year or so. Yeah.
This guy that we've got mutual connections. This guy, Paul Brown, is somebody really worth following. He's actually trying to be a journalist, but he's a video expert. He's very central London based, but he's really good at videoing. So you've got a decent amount of followers as well.
It's a bit weird. I think the thing that I'm struggling to do is I'm trying to find a reflective voice, that working in the open thing, but without giving away too much dirty laundry of the contract that I'm working on. So I think that my voice is something to do with reflective and challenging stuff, but I need to balance that with the confidentiality, and yeah, I'm interested in people's views on that.
I mean, Kate might have a view, but I think if you put it theoretically, if you do anything sort of theoretically, you know, with your experience, just pick a topic and chat about it in a anonymous. I'm sure there's a way to do it anonymously. I know what you mean, because I often write about my clients, experiences with my clients, but I don't name them, particularly because when I'm working with my clients, it's because there's something sort of going wrong in the company somewhere that they're trying to fix, and I don't want to sort of go, you know, I don't want to expose that necessarily.
Exactly.
So I try to do it in just you know, I was talking to someone the other day who's telling me this, or have you ever thought this, or, you know, just do it completely agnostic to any company at all, just as a theoretical thing. That seems to work for me.
Yeah, I suppose your planning model would probably help with that as well, to have something that I'm working on, but that's not so obviously reactive to something that's just happened. So actually, if I just cool it, don't post it for a couple of weeks, then it would be easier to justify, oh no, it wasn't an exact reaction to that awful meeting.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If you do it like in 3 months' time, everyone will have forgotten that it was, you know, oh, it's that drama going on.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, but
I agree on that, and I think it's getting that balance of, so I'd call it story and connection posts, where you're talking around real life examples, documenting what's been going on. You don't have to say any names, but then also value posts. So that's where you build authority within your space. So as a digital transformation leader, so that's a different type of post, where you might say be educational, so talk around how to achieve X, or, you know, a journey, like top 5 tips for achieving Y. So there is a website called answerthepublic.com. So within your niche, so for mine, personal branding, if you, or yours might be digital leadership or universities, and obviously you come from that kind of background, whichever sector that you are working in, you can search and Answer the Public, and it gives you all the top search results, like the raw search results from Google. So it gives you loads of content ideas. So that's where I find a lot of my ideas from, because I know that people are searching for it right now, and then I use that for inspiration, and then I write mine stuff on my notes app on my phone, just ideas of topics. So yeah, that's another way of going about it. But I won't worry too much in terms of what you put out, but obviously try and do it a little bit confidential if you're worried about what they might think, and just document your kind of experiences within the sector, within the space, and you don't have to always do it in a way that people might be thinking, oh, is that about me? We've got some more comment. Thanks, Amber. That's really good. Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. So we've got quite a few. So Kerry, would it be worth setting up a Women Tech WhatsApp group? And we can, I'm up for that. So quite a few people have said that you want to connect further after this. So do make sure that you do connect, and we can have a look at what we can do to connect you all as well. Hi, Kerry. How are you? No, you came on a bit later.
I'm good, thanks, Keisha. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So Kerry will be speaking at our next Women in Tech event as well, so we're looking forward to that. So do keep an eye out for the dates for that as well. But thank you. Has anyone got any final questions? We've got a few minutes to wrap up. So just want to check. So Kerry, are you looking for us to do like a group where you can all connect?
Yeah, we found that really helpful. We did it as part of an accelerator group, and the posts that get reshared by members of the group get fantastic engagement. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but it almost sort of beats LinkedIn's algorithm, and they end up getting quite fantastic engagement. And some of the posts that do the best are polls. So I think polls tend to do quite well on LinkedIn, but they do particularly well when they're boosted by likes from a reasonably sized WhatsApp group.
Yeah, so we have done stuff like that before, similar. So at Crimson, haven't we, Holly and Lou, where you'd support each other's posts and kind of engage in it, just because, like you said, LinkedIn, when you post, it does put you into 2 categories, whether it's a kind of a high quality post, low quality post, actually 3 categories, or spam. So if you get engagement from other people straight away, then that's positive for LinkedIn, like you said. So Lou's just put some good idea of what we've done with WhatsApp sharing helps massively. And I've also done things like LinkedIn Messenger groups, so to help with engagement. So we'll definitely have a look at what we can do. Holly, is that okay to have a look at something for the women in tech community to help them with that?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I'll do some research into that and see what our options are.
Perfect, thank you. That was really useful. Thank you so much to our two amazing speakers and for everyone being so involved and interactive with the chat. It does really, really help. But I appreciate both of you, Claire, and Claire, for saying yes and actually being part of the community, because it does really, really help sharing each other's experiences and just making the community what it is. So thank you, really appreciate it. We will have our next session coming up in January, so do keep your eye out for that. Really excited for that, and hopefully you can sign up and get booked in as soon as possible. And hope to see you all soon. But have a great day and rest of your week and weekend. And yeah, do connect with each other, and do hopefully see you at the next session as well. And have a great Christmas. We won't see you before that, so see you in January. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to both speakers, Claire and Claire. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.